Hello aspirant, as we have started our this particular video series for summary of Lakshmikkant'S polity. So let's begin from the beginning. We will be dealing with historical background first. In historical background, we will be dealing with these four acts today. 1773 is Regulating Act, Amending Act of 1781, then Pitt's India Act of 1784, and later we will be dealing with Act of 1786. So four acts will be completed today. So let's talk about the Regulating Act of 1773. Regulating Act of 1773 was first initiative that British government took to control the affairs of East India Company and in the India. Okay, it was the first step. Before that, East India Company was acting like an autonomous body in India. So after 1773, it is now being under control of British government. Okay. And most importantly, we can say it laid the foundation of central administration in India. Later we will see how decentralization started. But from here onward, centralization of India, central administration means centralization of system is being started. Okay. It changed the governor's name as well. Governor name means their position's name. As before 1773, the governor of Bengal was known as Governor of Bengal. But now that governor is known as Governor General of Bengal. Okay. And such governor was, and such first Governor General was Lord Warren Hastings. Okay. And listen, it provided for the establishment of Supreme Court as well. In 1774, Regulating Act came in India in 1773, but in 1774, it laid the foundation, laid the foundation of Supreme Court. In Calcutta, that is important. Calcutta. Okay. With original and appellate jurisdiction comprising one Chief Justice and three other justices. Okay. This question has already come into UPSC pre. Okay. Bombay and Madras presidencies were made subordinates. Okay. They were made subordinates. Bombay and Madras presidency. Before that, they were working individually, but from now onwards, it will not happen over there. Okay. So now let's talk about amending Act of 1784. Later, British government felt that there were some issues with Regulating Act of 1773. Okay, so to correct that issues, they launched another act, Amending Act of 1781. Okay, to rectify the defects of Regulating of 1773. British Parliament passed the Amending Act of 1781. Okay, also known as Act of Settlement or Declaratory Act of 1781. Act of Settlement or declaratory, sorry, it is quite hard, but you can remember it. Okay, declaratory act of 70s, act of settlement. As there were some issues with regulating act of 73, I already told you. So to correct that issues, they passed another amending act of 1781 that was known as amending act of settlement or declaratory act of 71. Okay, and what it did at the time, it exempted the Governor General of the Supreme Council from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court for the acts done by them in their official capacity. Also exempted the servants of company from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court for their official action. Basically, it limits the jurisdiction area of Supreme Court. It limited. In 1773, when regulating act came, it also proposed an idea of Supreme Court as well. So in 1774, it provided the establishment of Supreme Court at Calcutta. Okay, but now in 1781, they are defining the jurisdiction area of Supreme Court. They were saying that the Governor General of Bengal and Governor General and the Council. Basically, a Governor General has its own council. Okay, so Governor General and its council both, they are free from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. They are not binded by the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Okay, at the time. And it also exempted that the servants of company from the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court for their official actions. It means that Governor General and councils and servants of company, they all are out of the jurisdiction area of Supreme Court. Basically, they are exempted from the jurisdiction area of the Supreme Court. And later, it excluded the revenue matter as well. It excluded the revenue matter and the matter arising in the collection of revenue from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Basically, it is saying that the way they are collecting the revenue, the way they are collecting revenue from the persons and the matters that are arising due to the revenue collection, this is also exempted from the jurisdiction area of Supreme Court. Okay. So it excluded the revenue matter and the matter arising because of the collection of revenue. Basically, in one word, you can say amending Act of 1781 is defining the jurisdiction area of Supreme Court. It provided that the Supreme Court was to have jurisdiction over all the inhabitants of Calcutta. It also required the court to administer the personal law of defendant. Okay. Hindus were to be tried according to Hindu law, and Muslims were to be tried according to the Muhammadan law. Basically, they were giving the judgment according to the laws. Hindus were giving to Hindu laws. Hindu laws may be they were watching Hindu tradition, Hindu books, and similarly for Muslim cases, where they may refer Quran, Hadith, and other book of Muslims. Okay, so they tried that Hindus were to be tried according to Hindu law and Muslim were to be tried according to the Muhammadan law. It laid down the appeals from the provincial council courts could be taken to the Governor General in Council and not to the Supreme Court. It empowered the Governor General in Council to frame regulation for the provincial courts and council. Okay. Basically, a Governor General in Council is being more powerful. So, okay. Governor General in Council has now power to define the features, to define the regulation of provincial courts and councils. Okay. Then coming to the Pitt India Act of 1784. Here, Indian affairs came under direct control of the British government in India, in Britain. Indian affairs, basically the matters, the affairs related to India, they came under direct control of British government. Okay, they took the charge of Indian affairs, and this particular act of 1784 distinguished between the commercial and political function of the company. It describes, it bifurcates the commercial and political function of company, and it allowed the court of director to manage the commercial affairs and created a new body called board of control, 6-membered body to manage the political affairs, to supervise and direct all operations of civil and military governments or revenue of the British. Okay, so here what we are saying, in Pitt's India Act, some feature was as they established a new body called Board of Control, 6-membered body it was managing the political affairs to supervise and direct all operations of civil and military government and civil and military government revenue. It was also managing the revenue. I'm talking about board of control. Civil and military operation was also in hand of this board of control. Okay. And court of director is now managing only the commercial affairs. Court of director, COD, managing commercial affairs. So you can learn this, that COD nowadays, COD means related to some commerce, e-commerce business. So COD means court of director dealing with commercial affairs, and board of control dealing with political affairs, managing and supervising the operation of civil and military government or revenues as well. Okay, so after that, let's deal with Act of 1784. In Act of 1784, Lord Cornwallis was appointed as the Governor General of Bengal at the time of 1786. Lord Cornwallis was appointed as Governor General of Bengal. Okay, and when he took his charge, he placed two demands. Okay, first, he should be given power to override the decision of council in a special case. He demanded that he should be given the power to override the decision that council is taking in some cases. Okay, and he should be the commander in chief. Okay, so 1786, Lord Cornwallis became the Governor General of Bengal. So he demanded two things. First, power to override the decision of council, and secondly, he should be commander in chief. Okay, he should be commander in chief. Okay, as we were talking about Pitt's India Act, so if you see here, there is two body now, COD and BOC, Court of Director and Board of Control. So this feature is called dual government. So the feature of dual government started from here. Okay, because in Pitt's India Act, what they did, they basically formed another body called Board of Contact that was managing the political affairs and directing all the operation of civil and military government revenues, and Court of Director was managing the commercial affairs. Okay. For your questions, stay ahead, stay tuned, still well motivated, and be officious and serve your country. Thank you.